President Donald Trump's decision on October 17, 2025, to commute the 87-month, 7-year, 3-month federal prison sentence of disgraced former Representative George Santos triggered a significant national debate over the limits of presidential power, judicial accountability, and political favoritism. Santos, who represented New York's 3rd Congressional District, had served just 84 days in a federal facility after pleading guilty in August 2024 to wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, campaign finance violations, and other financial misconduct. The original sentence, handed down in April 2025, reflected a major conviction for a sitting or former member of Congress, stemming from his serial fabrications about his life and the fraudulent misuse of campaign donor funds. Federal prosecutors had argued for a stiff sentence due to Santos's perceived lack of remorse. The commutation not only released Santos immediately, but, critically, cleared him of the substantial court-ordered restitution and forfeiture payments, totaling nearly $580,000, profoundly impacting the victims he defrauded. This move is broadly analyzed as a transactional act, prioritizing political loyalty over the judicial system's mandate for justice and restitution. Reasons for the commutation. The rationale provided by President Trump centered on 2 primary themes: perceived unfairness of the punishment and political allegiance. 1. Perceived disproportionate punishment and mistreatment. In announcing the commutation, President Trump stated that Santos had been horribly mistreated in prison, citing his time in solitary confinement, and suggested that his 7-year sentence was excessive, arguing that many rogues throughout our country aren't forced to serve 7 years in prison. This echoed pleas Santos himself had made in an open letter published just days before the Clemency, in which he cited the unusual pain and hardship of his confinement and his desire for a second chance. The argument positioned the commutation as a humanitarian correction of an overly harsh judicial outcome. 2. Political loyalty and false equivalency. The most explicit reason cited by Trump was Santos's consistent political support. Trump explicitly noted that Santos had the courage, conviction, and intelligence to always vote Republican. Furthermore, the president drew a controversial comparison between Santos' financial crimes and fabrications and Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal's past misstatements about his military service. By framing Santos's crimes as far worse than political loyalty, Trump signaled that political allegiance trumps the rule of law for those who support him, a trend consistent with his previous of clemency for political allies. Consequences and immediate impact. The commutation has generated immediate, far-reaching consequences across the political and legal landscape. 1. Erosion of judicial integrity. The most severe impact is the damage to the perception of judicial independence and accountability for elected officials. By intervening just 3 months into an 87-month sentence for serious financial crimes, the executive branch undercut the judicial penalty and the deterrent effect it was intended to convey. Critics, including Republicans and Democrats, condemned the act as a feature of corruption and an act of political favoritism, suggesting that loyalty to the president offers a shield from criminal justice. 2. Victim impact and legal precedent. The commutation order, which cleared Santos of all further fines, restitution, probations, supervised release, or other conditions, directly victimized the individuals Santos had defrauded. The waiving of court-ordered restitution, a payment mandated to make victims whole, is a profound legal consequence, sending a message that a presidential favor can override the financial responsibility of a convicted felon to their victims. 3. Political and media resurgence. The commutation transformed George Santos from a federal inmate into an immediately free, high-profile political figure. Santos quickly engaged in media appearances, framing his experience as a catalyst for future work in prison reform. His ability to capitalize on his notoriety, including a quick return to selling personalized videos on platforms like Cameo, suggests he will remain a provocative and disruptive element in the political sphere, leveraging his brand of infamy. Prediction and solutions. Prediction. In the short term, Santos will continue to pursue media visibility, potentially using his experience to launch a new, non-governmental career centered on political commentary or prison reform advocacy. While he remains a convicted felon, no law prevents him from running for federal office again, a possibility he may explore in 2026, driven by his confirmed brand recognition. More broadly, this action serves as a strong prediction that presidential clemency, particularly in politically charged cases, will continue to be deployed as a tool to reward loyalty rather than correct substantive judicial errors. This pattern creates a powerful incentive structure for political figures to align themselves unconditionally with the executive branch. Solutions and systemic responses. Addressing the ramifications of this commutation requires legislative and judicial reform focused on strengthening institutional accountability. Ethics and oversight reform. Congress must establish stricter, bipartisan ethics protocols and internal enforcement mechanisms for criminal conduct by members, independent of presidential influence. Clemency standards review. Though the U.S. Constitution grants the president broad clemency power, Congress could debate non-binding standards or resolutions, urging the executive to consider factors like the need for restitution and the time served relative to the sentence for white-collar crimes before granting clemency, especially in cases involving financial harm to the public or campaign finance violations. Restitution mandate protection. Legislative action may be needed to clarify whether clemency can explicitly nullify court-ordered financial restitution to victims of federal crimes, ensuring that victims' right to compensation is protected even in cases of executive intervention.